The comments and opinions of Talk of the Heartland with Mac McCoy are not necessarily the opinions of Walnut Media USA, management, station manager Janel Reeves, any particular denomination or religion, the mailman, the church lady, or anyone else of sound mind and body. Now, here's the Talk of the Heartland with Mac McCoy on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian voice.
All right, good afternoon. It is the 12th day, is that right? 12th day of April in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McCoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland here on AM 660, FM 106.7, and all around the world at KCRO.com. It is a Tuesday, and if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or wherever it may be, you may need to go to the KCRO Facebook page. We are not broadcasting live on my page today, but we are on Twitter. That's right, Twitter, because that's how the new president of Twitter calls it, Twitter. And, of course, on MacMcCoy.com. All right. I have somehow received the death penalty. No, the government didn't hand it down. No,
Someone more important. I'm
Sit
just going
down.
to throw that out there.
The governor didn't. The mayor didn't.
Nope.
Not even my boss in the big picture did. They've thrown me to the wolves and sent me the boss. And I don't know why you're here. I really don't know why you're here. They came in 10 minutes ago, sat down, adjusted the curtains, adjusted the cameras, pushed down on my good shoulder and told me to sit and be quiet. So here I am.
Just sit and push the buttons, Mac.
All right, I will. Hold on, I got a good button here I can push. Just a second. That's me playing the guitar.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead.
You're talented.
Thank you very much. You had no idea. Here,
You really had no idea.
listen to this one. Name that tune. Oh, come on. You don't know?
I am really bad at this. Really
Seriously,
bad.
you don't know that? That's like one of the most famous guitar riffs in history.
Oh.
Is it now?
My husband would be disappointed being a guitar player.
Oh, your husband would know
Yeah.
that.
But also, like, how famous if I don't know it?
All right, here.
You know what I mean?
Can I play my Reagan imitation for you?
Sure.
I'm really good at it. Are you ready?
Yep.
From one of the greatest presidents in America to one of the greatest radio stations in America. Happy 100th birthday, KCRO.
Abraham Lincoln called the Bible the best gift God has given to man. But for it, he said,
Huh? Sounded
Wow.
just like Reagan, didn't it?
It did.
Okay, what do you want? I've killed enough time. Killed everything.
All right. We just came to talk.
Okay, I'm nervous.
Let's talk a little bit today.
The last time a woman came and told me she wanted to talk, it was my youngest daughter, and I got the daddy talk. You haven't had to give. Oh wait, no, you don't have. You're not a grandma yet.
Nope.
Yep. Okay.
I have grand doggies.
Grand
But that's
doggies.
about it.
Okay. All right. So what do you?
All right. Abby has a topic that she thought it would be relevant to discuss.
So now she's pushing it on you too, huh?
No. I mean, I talked with her about this topic, and I
You
was like, what do
did?
you think? Yeah.
Hmm. She values my opinion.
And please understand, for those of you listening, I don't know. Honest. Do I know?
Is it the topic?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
All right. Fine. I feel like I'm on WWF last night, and they're going to make me tell who I'm going to wrestle.
Yeah. Well, this topic, it's a pretty big one.
Yeah?
But basically, we thought this is really relevant right now, but talking about how important our words are, and specifically speaking the truth, and how that relates just in our everyday life, how it should matter in our everyday life, whether we're speaking the truth or not.
Okay. That sounds like a serious topic.
Yeah, I mean, it's big, but I mean, I feel like any Bible topic is a serious topic, because if it's important enough to be in the Bible, God thinks it must be important.
Okay, so can we figure out a scale on what is a lie and what isn't a lie?
I mean, for me, I don't know if I necessarily see it as like a scale, but I'm also someone who thinks very black and white. So I
Okay.
don't really I don't see many things in scales.
No, she doesn't.
But basically, it's whether it's either God's truth or the world's truth. That's where I think it kind of splits up, which
And
I say the
people
world.
blur those lines.
Yeah, and I say the world's truth like loosely, as in that's not the truth at all, but that's what the world's going to present as the truth, when in fact, truth is truth if it's God's truth. There's no denying that. It's fact. So you can't all of a sudden make it not truth, if that makes sense. It's not logical.
Sure. I mean, that's one of my favorite topics because, the devil whispers lies in our ears all the time and somehow makes us think dumb Beatrice Kid Mac thinks the devil's telling me the truth.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
really good at it.
that's what he's done since the beginning.
And I never call the devil a he. It's just an it. Okay? It's not a female, it's not a male. Angels don't have autonomy. No. Anatomy. No. Body parts.
Anatomy.
Anatomy, thank you. But if you want to call him he for now, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've not thought of it that way, but that's generally how I'll refer to Satan.
Is
But,
him?
yeah.
Yeah, women usually do.
I'm not making it like that. I'm just going
Okay.
off of how I've known it to be.
All right, that's fine. I'm fully not in charge today.
Yeah, but I think like to really get started with this, we need to talk about why like words matter, just plain and simple.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay.
By the way, should we tell everybody that your mom's birthday was last week?
No, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow,
Oh,
actually.
it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
The party was last week.
Yeah.
You mean the party started last
yes,
week?
that's what I meant to say.
All right. Anyway.
And I'm almost as old as KCRO now.
Yeah, right.
Halfway there.
Well, after those facelifts, nobody can tell. Let me tell you.
That's right.
No, happy birthday, though, Janelle.
Thank you.
Seriously, you are a young woman compared to the number of circles
Compared
on
to
your.
KCRO.
Well, no, the circles on your trunk. Well, you know how you. Now,
You're
wait a minute.
talking about trees?
Yeah.
That's an odd way to put it, but I
Well,
I
but
know what you're saying.
every year that a tree grows, there's another rim
Right.
on
Ring.
its stump, a ring or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you cut a tree down and there's 50, I don't know why I picked that number. I just
don't
did.
either. Huh.
There are 50 rings, then that tree has been there for 50 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
But before we start too, probably just want
We
to.
already did start.
Well, I meant like
can't
really
go back now.
really get into it. Like for anyone listening who's probably like, who the heck are these people? My
Well,
name's
they know you.
Oh, they should, I hope. But my name's Abby, and I do weather and traffic here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I intern. And this other lovely lady with me is my mom, and she is the station manager of KCRO.
So, you know that disclaimer played at the beginning today? The opinions are mine.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is true. Because
Today they are. I'll accept that.
Can I phone a friend?
Nope.
I thought
Can I
we
use a lifeline?
Can he?
use a lifeline? It depends. What do you want to do?
Call some. Well, what?
Nope.
No, use a life. What is use a lifeline? Anyway, go ahead, kids. I'm fine.
It's all right.
We're
As long as
digressing.
we're talking about Jesus
Yeah.
and the truth and something that's biblically correct,
Yeah.
I'm all game.
You'll be fine.
Trying to get
Be
there
nice
and
to
present
have
that.
you girls here till 6.
Yes, but so I think the key thing when we're talking about like truth is basically we have to understand that words matter and words have power. We like to treat them like they can be neutral, which I think is just not true whatsoever. Words are not neutral. They're either gonna, build someone up, tear somebody down. Like
Yes.
there's always intention behind them, and we need to be conscious of that, especially thinking of like, God, he literally spoke the world into existence. He spoke creation into existence. So that right there should be like our basis, our standard for how important words are.
That little thing that you've heard all your life growing up, sticks and stones may break my bones, words will never hurt me, is a lie.
What?
It's a lie.
Yeah.
That's a Macism. I live by that. No, I don't. Wonder,
I was going to say, I would really reevaluate that.
Where did that ever come from anyway? Because when I was a kid, I believed it.
I did too. Well, that's what we were taught to believe.
By
And
who?
That's not true. They. It's the
They?
the them. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's just a pervasive, lie that society has pushed forward that, if someone, if they're not physically hurting you or beating you, whatever they say, that should have no relevance whatsoever to you if it's against you. Which is just like, I mean, I can understand a little bit, I think, how they got that all confused and convoluted
Like
and messed
turn the
up.
other cheek type thing.
Yeah, but the truth is like the saying I like better is sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can destroy me. And thinking about how important, like words are so important. I mean, I know, like, I feel like almost anybody would say, like, yeah, somebody could, like, smack me, and obviously I'd get really upset. But, like, if they verbally, so to speak, smacked me or, like, spoke ill against me and my character, that would, like, hurt me and affect me way more than, you know, just a slap or a bruise or a cut or anything like that.
I'm going to get real deep here, but in my first marriage, I really wished that he would hit me, so I felt like I had a way out of the marriage. He used words instead. So words can hurt, and they do hurt. And when you're told lies for so long, you tend to believe them after a while.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's really important what you say. I'm happily remarried now, and I tell
You're
my
married
current-
to a great guy.
Thank you.
Is he rich?
He is rich with his love and affection.
It's rich in the spirit.
Okay, now we
Yes.
just got into the Samuel here. With the,
I tell him all the time, words matter. What you say matters.
Well, I
because
know.
he likes to talk bad about himself because he heard that growing up. And I always tell him to stop. I say, well, your words are important. They have power. And he's like, whoa, I didn't know. Well, now you do. And that's exactly what we're talking about here.
All right. The proverb, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, is said to have an initial trace from Alexander William Kingslake, a book published in 1844, right before you were born,
Right.
which was
Smidgen.
called Golden Sticks and Stones. Later, it was cited in the Christian Recorder of March, published in 1892, where it slated that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. There you
Wow.
go.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's-
1844.
yeah.
And I knew that just on the top of my head.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
But see, that lie's
Me
been
and
out there for a
Google.
long time.
Yeah. It's really sad, I think, how long that it's perpetuated. Because, like, lies just feed into more lies.
So that brings up the next thing we wanted to talk about is speaking the truth to friends and family.
Well, hold on. Can we just wait a minute and go to that next? Because I want to unpack. Why we allow words to hurt us.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
I'm not
I mean,
trying
it's
to
a
hijack.
valid question.
Okay, because I think I have an answer. Well, it's not my answer. It's actually something Jesus taught me when he mugged me. But we'll do that if you'll let me do that. Okay, oh boy, it's Tuesday, the 12th day of April, and I'm just excited as heck. My boss and her daughter is in here, and we're doing what good radio should do. Listen to the boss.
Celebrate Easter with Covenant. Tune in every Sunday right here on AM 660 KCRO for the Covenant Church live broadcast at 11 a.m. Covenant Church is located at 150th and Blondo Street in Omaha. Join us in person at 11 a.m. For more information, go to covenantomaha.church. That's covenantomaha.church. Celebrate the risen Lord at Covenant this Easter. Come home to Covenant.
Hey friends, what do you have going on for Easter? If you would like to go to the best Easter egg hunt this side of the Mississippi, come to Master's Hand on April 16th. There's going to be prizes, 25,000 Easter eggs, critter close-ups, Omaha street percussion, free pony rides, and skydivers. Hope to see you there.
That's Master's Hand Candles and Gifts on Highway 75, 20 minutes north of Blair. Saturday, April 16th from 8 to 4. Fun for your whole family.
Matthew 28 tells us to go out into the world, spread the gospel, and make disciples of all men and women. Hi, my name's Mac McCoy, and I'm the host of The Talk of the Heartland. Heard 4 to 6 p.m. weekdays. At KCRO, we take your calling from God very seriously, and we know you do too. Therefore, if you would be interested in sharing your ministry with millions of potential disciples around the world, I am inviting you to be a host of your very own radio program here on KCRO. Just email me, Mac, like macaroni, mac@kcro.com. And thanks for listening to the Christian Voice of the Heartland, KCRO.
Success in action. How can you take your business or work to the next level? Listen to the Success in Action radio show with Jim Barger, Saturday afternoons at 12:30 on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian voice.
AmeriCorps programs and members are making a huge impact in Nebraska communities near you, addressing critical issues like education, conservation, and even food insecurity. Because of AmeriCorps, the Lead for Nebraska program is fighting brain drain in Nebraska's rural communities by expanding access to broadband services and digital literacy. Learn about AmeriCorps programs serving communities in your region by visiting serve.nebraska.gov. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, it's Mac from Talk of the Heartland, and you know in this day and age you can pick up KCRO just about anywhere you want. We have a digital app that goes on all smartphones, Alexa or Google or any of the smart speakers, or anywhere around the world at kcro.com. And no matter where you are when you're listening, at home, at work, or in the car, remember to write it down. We are AM 660 and 106.7 KCRO. Thanks for listening to the Talk of the Heartland.
Hey everybody, this week's show is going to be awesome on the journey. I have my guests, Jason and Michelle Hurt, the co-founders of Chariots for Hope, one of the greatest ministries you'll ever hear about. They are going to be on the show and we're going to be having so much fun. So please tune in to The Journey on Thursday from 5 to 6 on KCRO.com or at 660 AM.
This is Abby with traffic and weather now. For traffic, no new accidents to report as of right now. For weather, we're looking at a chance for thunderstorms late this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe and capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and possibly even a tornado or two. Tonight, we're looking at showers and thunderstorms mainly before midnight with a low around 36 degrees. Tomorrow and Thursday, it's going to be mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 50s. Currently, it is 91 degrees right now, so it's getting pretty warm. And that's weather and traffic on KCRO.
The Heartland's Christian voice, KCRO.
It's the 12th day of April in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Matt McCoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland on AM 660, FM 106.7, on our KCRO app and smartphones, as well as smart devices like Alexa, and of course all around the world here at kcro.com. And it's your voice I want to hear. Anytime you've got a comment or suggestion or whatever it might be, you can email me. It's open. I have a very low spam detector, so it will let most emails in. So I invite you to let me know what you're thinking. It's easy to remember the name. It's Mac, M-A-C, like macaroni, at kcro.com. Today we are talking about the power of words. I don't think this is a subject that's too early for anybody. 3-year-old, we're telling them how powerful their words are, usually after they mimic mom or dad with their potty mouths, or all the way to when we get to be grandparents. And then everybody's listening to what we say because we're supposed to be wise. And as I like to tell people, wisdom is not something you say, it's something you hear. So I'm listening to the wise ones today, Janel and her daughter Abigail, here on KCRO.
Yeah, so we're talking about the importance of words today, and just how important they are, not because we say they are, but because God says that they are.
Okay, tell me what kind of word you wouldn't like. And maybe it's not a word, it's how it's used in a sentence, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I think the easy one a lot of people will go to is, like, of course, like curse words and things like that. Personally, I very much do not like them. I don't use them. And I think really it's not so much even the word, it's the meaning behind it and the intentionality behind it. Like, why are you using that? Like, what's the need? Are you glorifying God with that? Or are you, instead hurting other people?
I remember a long time ago in junior high or middle school, as they call it now, and wanting to be the cool kid, and I was talking with a group of friends, and I was using curse words because I thought, it made me sound cooler and older. And I just had this one girl, and I remember she never used a curse word, and that stuck out to me. And I remember her saying, when somebody asked her why, I don't think it was me, but somebody asked her why that was, and she said, I just don't feel the need to talk that way or to use those words. That was junior high. I have never forgotten that. And that was just powerful.
And I don't think I've
me.
ever heard you swear.
You won't hear me swear here. I'm not going to say I've never done it, but you will not hear that here at work.
You hear it at home, Abby?
I will not do that.
Not really. Mom doesn't really use that kind of language, really, which I'm appreciative of.
May I give you another side to that?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. The Bible talks about swear words or bad words or words we're not supposed to say. Do you know what those words, what the intent of those words are according to God? They are to blaspheme him. When somebody says, shame on you, that's one of the worst things you could say to somebody because the shame comes from where? Satan. Doesn't come from God. Or, what's the other one I was thinking of? Now, bless you. Nothing wrong with those words, right?
Right.
Unless the intent is what?
To mock the Lord? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, bless your heart.
Right.
But God's upstairs going, huh? You want me to do what? You're
Words
sarcastic.
Right. You can say, quote unquote, the right words, use the right words, but it's the meaning in your heart, too. That,
Right.
Just like you said, you can say, oh, bless you. But if you don't really mean that, God knows.
Well, I don't hardly swear at all. And I want to say I never take the Lord's name in vain, but never is a word I don't like, and always is another word I don't like. There's a word that if I'm going to choose to be offended, it's somebody that says, well, I do that every day. And I say, every day? Well, yeah. Like every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Well, not maybe every day.
Right.
You just said every day.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I think like a key thing too is that words they don't just come from nowhere. Like words are an overflow of your heart. Like what comes out of the mouth is an overflow of your heart. So I think truly like if you find yourself saying things that, you don't want to say or are not good or make you feel like leaves you feeling kind of like dirty or bad inside, then I think that's a really good indication to check your heart because there's got to be some sort of heart thing there because like the fruits of your tongue are an indication of your heart and where your heart's at. So I think that's like a really important thing too, and like why we should care so much. Like and I know there's probably somebody who's sitting there listening going like, oh my gosh, they think I need to, watch every single word that comes out of my mouth, blah, blah, blah. And I would honestly even challenge you like, yeah, why not? Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you care how you speak and how you represent not only yourself, but if you're a Christian, you're representing God to other people.
All right, Abby and Janel are my guests today. This is the Talk of the Heartland. And when we come back, what are we going to talk about?
And now we're going to probably talk about a little more of truth. Since words are so important, why is speaking the truth so crucial in this day and age?
It's the truth that it comes in all shapes and sizes, and sometimes the truth is not really the truth. We're talking about words today and how powerful they are. And I thank you for thinking. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being here. Live from the Divine Truth Studios, this is Talk of the Heartland on AM 660 and 106.7 FM in Lincoln, and that's KCRO.
The DJ's Hero Awards Luncheon is back at CHI Health Center Omaha. Join us Tuesday, May 3rd for a conversation about leadership and perseverance featuring NU legend Tom Osborne, former Creighton Athletic Director Bruce Rasmussen, and international businessman and Omaha native David Sokol. Plus, hear the inspirational stories of our Hero Awards scholarship honorees. Reserve your seat or your group table today at djshero.org. That's djshero.org.
I'm Joyce Meyer, and I want to encourage you to listen to Enjoying Everyday Life Monday through Friday right here on this station. My program is full of practical biblical teaching that will build your faith and equip you to enjoy your life. I love to share God's Word with you. It's His Word that allows us to have victory in this life right now. His Word sets us free. Be sure to listen to Enjoying Everyday Life right here daily so you can be blessed and encouraged.
5:45 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 10 p.m. on KCRO.
Hey, this is Mac McCoy from Talk of the Heartland, here on the Christian Voice of the Heartland. AM 660, KCRO, and FM 106.7 in Lincoln. Hey, if you have a pastor you'd like to hear share their theology and things about their church, maybe at your church, I'd sure like to have you recommend that pastor, or maybe a friend, someone you work with, a relative, maybe a grandchild, somebody who loves Jesus and would like to talk about it on the radio. I would love to hear from you. You can call me at 1-402-819-2666. That's a recorded line we have, and you can tell me whatever you want, and I'll listen to the message. Or you can always email me at Mac, that's M-A-C, at KCRO.com. And no matter where you are when you're listening, at home, at work, or in the car, remember to write it down. We are AM 660 and 106.7 KCRO. And thanks for listening.
Avery Presbyterian Church in Bellevue, Nebraska is a Bible-believing congregation with an emphasis on ministry to all ages. If you're looking for a church family that really feels like a family, come visit us. Our contemporary service, the Awaken service, begins at 9 a.m., and we invite your kids to Bible adventure, including songs, special guests, and a free breakfast. The adults gather to Sunday school at the same time, 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. If you prefer a more traditional service, you are invited to join us at 11 a.m. for Avery Presbyterian's Legacy Worship Service. This season, join us for our Easter services. We are kicking the Easter celebration off with our sunrise service at 6:40 a.m. Join us at Camp Brewster to watch the sun rise, and then back to Avery Presbyterian for a hot complimentary breakfast. And don't forget to join us for our 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Easter celebration services. Avery is a Bible-believing church located in Bellevue, Nebraska, across from Avery Elementary. Look for the Avery Bell Tower. And thanks for choosing the Avery Presbyterian Church, a Bible-believing family where we can't wait to meet you.
Meep, meep. I'm Abby. We're going to take a look at traffic and weather on KCRO right now. For traffic, don't have any new accidents to report. So you guys are doing good. Keep driving safe out there. For weather, we do have a little bit of a concerning weather issue for this evening, if you will. So we have a chance for thunderstorms late this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe and capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and possibly even tornadoes. So we're looking at showers and thunderstorms mainly before midnight tonight with a low around 36. Tomorrow and Thursday, it's going to be mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 50s. Right now, it is currently 91 degrees. I'm Abby, and that's weather and traffic on KCRO.
It's 12th day of April in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McCoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland, here on the Christian Voice of the Heartland. AM 660 and FM 106.7, and all around the world at KCRO.com. Today, Janel, who's the general manager of the station, and her daughter, Abigail, who you know, has been doing weather and traffic and participating in the show, and Abby knows this, but you know, if you would ever choose to just not do anything else in your life but come in here every day and work for 2 hours, that'd be okay with me.
It would be okay with me too.
Okay, well, that's 2 votes for that.
Yep.
People really like you. They really, and they tell me that. I like that one girl you have on.
Oh, thank you.
And since you're the only girl I have on, it's easy to figure out.
That's just me, that one girl.
Yeah. It takes people a while to learn names.
Oh, it's okay. I'm not upset about that.
Okay,
I
well.
think it's funny.
Are you not offended, Abby?
No, I'm not offended.
Why aren't you offended?
This is a great segue into our next part. I'll let you kick that off, Mom.
Well, we wanted to talk about, since words matter, we wanted to talk about how speaking the truth in love is important in this day and age. And so many people twist that and think, well, you need to hear this, so they're going to slam and smack you with that truth. That's not speaking it in love, like the Bible talks about.
Yeah.
And so do we... All right, so let me turn this into a question.
Okay.
How do we make sure, as the people saying the words, always make sure the way the people hear the words are in love?
Well, we can only do so much. We can only, if you have something you want to talk to somebody about, a hard truth per se that you want to bring up, I suggest praying about it first, because God's going to give you the words to use, first of all. And then second of all, that's
that
up
is
to
true.
I've done that so many times. And afterwards, I'm like, where did that come from? It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Well, we know where it came from. But the person receiving it, they have a choice to make as well. And their choice is, are they going to hear the truth, or are they going to choose to be offended?
Choose to be offended.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get into that a little bit later, okay?
Okay.
But let's start with, because I love the topic, before Jesus mugged me, I had no idea what you were talking about. How do you say something in love? Something they don't want to hear in love. I mean, where I grew up in the farm fields of Nebraska, southeast Nebraska, you just said it. And then it was up to you who heard it to determine how you were going to react to it. But we've got into this world nowadays that people... There's no right or wrongs. There's right's left and left is right. And how do we know what word is a bad word anymore?
Yeah. No, that's a really good question. And I think that's what a lot of people find themselves struggling with anymore, is everyone's so worried about offending other people.
Yeah.
But I think we should be more concerned about, am I speaking God's truth or not? Because speaking God's truth, I mean, yes, there's wrong ways to do it, but if I'm trying to seek out God's will and I'm trying to present that to other people, that already is setting me up on, a platform of like, I'm doing it because I love whoever I'm talking to and I want what's best for them. I feel like that's kind of the difference. Like, think about, like an example, say you had to talk to a friend about something, like, say a fellow believer, and they're living in some way that's not in accordance with what God presented for how they should be living. So they're living some sort of sinful lifestyle, or they're continuing to participate in some active sin.
All right.
Right? So like, we're told in the Bible that as a believer, and as like a friend of that person, I should call out that sin in that person because I want what's best for them and I want them to realign themselves with God.
And if they don't like it?
Unfortunately, if they don't like it, that's a little bit on them. But I still know that I feel like my calling from God is to speak the truth. Like, if our example is supposed to be Jesus, that was a man who always, always, always spoke the truth. And he said things that were hard and things that people didn't want to hear. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't about him. It wasn't even about so much like trying to rag on them or anything like that, because Jesus wasn't about that. It was simply about God's truth and the freedom that comes from God's truth and the love that comes from God's truth.
You're listening to Abigail and Janel today, and Janel is the station manager, and she brings Abby in every Tuesday and Thursday, and Abby takes the time to be on the radio with us, and we really like that. Speaking the truth in love. Now, the Bible teaches us that if you have something to say to somebody, you go to them and you say it in love, and if they don't like it, then the Bible teaches us you go get somebody else. Let's say I'm the one that didn't like it. So you'd go get your mom or somebody I know or respect, and then the two of you would come to me and say, Mac, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And if I still don't like it, then you're able to take me in front of several people within the church. And I don't necessarily mean within the church, but it has to be somebody that I'm good with. They know, actually it's the other way around. They know me.
Yeah, your community.
Yeah, my community. They know me, and I'm accountable to them too. Anyway, at some point, then you just have to leave the relationship. But Christ does count us down to how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you I don't know if you know, Janelle, but you know my way of telling something they don't want to hear in love. Maybe you don't. So let's say I was going to tell you that what is something you wouldn't want to hear? Well, whatever it is, I'm not going to say it. This is what I'd say to you, Abby.
Mm-hmm.
Abigail, can I have permission to tell you something you don't want to hear?
Oh, you say that a lot on the show.
That's my way of saying to someone, I want to tell you something in love.
Mm-hmm.
I know up front you're not going to like it. So if you don't want me to tell you something you don't want to hear, no matter how I present it, you tell me that I don't have permission, and guess what? I won't do it.
Yeah.
I know everybody thinks, oh, no, I'm just kidding, Abby says. Go ahead and tell me. No, you don't. You really didn't want me to. And I'm not going to sit here and manipulate you with words or looks or anything like that to try to make you say, okay, go ahead and tell me. I can handle it.
Yeah.
So I have friends that do that to me, and it used to be kind of funny when they'd first start to do it, and God bless them, they figured out that it works. It works.
I think there's also something with the speaking to somebody in love. You have to first have a relationship with that person. You can't just walk up to somebody you only met for 2 days and try to have a very serious, quote unquote, in love conversation with them. That's why relationships with other people are so important, and God wants us to build those friendships and deep relationships so we can hold each other accountable and hold each other up the way God wants us to, the Christian community.
That's a good point. I mean, that's a very good point. Janelle and Abigail are here today. Abby is always in with us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Janelle, she is the general manager of the radio station, and she also happens to be Abigail's mom. And so today we just wanted to talk a little bit about words, because you're one more, not even a whole year of college yet, right?
Yeah, just one more semester after this one.
And so you'll practice. You'll graduate in December.
Yep.
And then where are you going?
That is a great question.
Because you're going to graduate from UNO.
Yeah.
With a double major.
No, a major and a minor.
Major and a minor.
Yeah.
Okay. The major is
communication studies.
Of
what?
Well, the minor is
religious studies.
Yeah. So you're going to learn how to communicate religious studies.
I mean, that's one way to put it, sure. I mean, in general, I'm just learning about how to communicate best with people. And then the religious studies is just what are some of the topics? How do you bring these up? What are they? It's really more basic, kind of.
You know, you're smarter than me already, because I never had a class on that. You know who my class was? Board of Education.
Yeah.
Did you ever have one of those in your mother's house?
No.
Yeah, it's called a paddle, and it's called the Board of Education.
No, we didn't do that.
We didn't do it. That's good. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, let's unpack that word offended, because really, when we wind this whole thing down, that's what we get to. We choose to be offended by what somebody says. So maybe it is sticks and bones can break my...
Sticks and stones.
Can break my bones, but words, if I choose, will never hurt me. We're coming back live on the Talk of the Heartland, right here on AM 660, FM 106.5, and all the way around the world. Yep, KCRO. Hi, this is Mac McCoy recording live here in the Divine Truth Studios. Did you know you can get a Bible with your name engraved on it the very same day you buy it? Plus, we have a special gift selection of items that can be personalized and engraved while you wait.
Yes, we have that at Divine Truth.
Come visit Divine Truth just off the corner of 84th and Harrison.
Divine Truth Christian Store, where you'll find more.
Do you need a little good news in your life? Tune in to Spotlight Good News Omaha on KCRO 3 times daily, weekdays at 5:30 a.m., 9:45 a.m., and 10:15 p.m. with your host, Tim Janisewski, on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian voice.
You ever get the sunny day blues? Skies are blue and so are you. Well, give your mood and attitude a tune-up at No Name Nutrition. Maybe adding omega-3 fish oil or vitamin D. They've both got a ton of health benefits. Might be just what the Hurleys ordered. Trent and Josh Hurley are healers. Why don't you start a conversation with them or any of the staff and start living life at the top of your game. No Name Nutrition. Best of Omaha as long as there's been a Best of Omaha. Google No Name Nutrition for deets.
Happy Easter, KCRO listeners. Let's celebrate this Easter by going to church.
Hello, my name is Pastor Nick Bank with Passageway Church here in Blair, Nebraska. And Easter is just around the corner, so I just want to take a minute and invite you out to our worship service at 10:30 in the morning on Sunday, April 17th. We'd love to welcome you back out if you haven't been to church in a while and come worship with us. We'll see you then.
Passageway Church is located at 715 Grant Street in Blair, Nebraska. For more information, go to passagewaychurch.church.
Hey, this is Mac from Talk of the Heartland, and I want to tell you thanks for listening. I love this job, and I couldn't do it without you. And there's many ways to listen to us. You have Facebook. You have KCRO.com. Plus, you've got our, if I may say, world-famous app on your phone that you can hear us anytime, fully digital. And don't forget smart speakers like Alexa or Google. We just want you to listen. And no matter where you are when you're listening, at home, at work, or in the car, remember to write it down. We are AM 660 and 106.7 KCRO. And we want to hear what you think about what we do. So call me at 1-402-819-2666 or email me, Mac, like macaroni, Mac at KCRO.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Austin. I'd like to give you an invitation to join us for Rise Up. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 o'clock a.m., we have been talking about Bible prophecy. We're looking in the book of Revelation. Wow, we have an interesting topic for next time. We are going to talk about a struggle between the dragon and the woman. Sounds kind of interesting, doesn't it? Join us next time for Rise Up.
Meep, meep. This is Abby with weather and traffic on KCRO. For traffic, had a few accidents come in within the last 10 minutes. So the first thing is at 36th and Hartman, there's a vehicle fire. At 72nd and Northland Drive, there's a brush fire. And then lastly, at Fort Crook and Cornhusker, there's an accident with injuries. So just be aware and cautious if you're going through these areas. For weather, this evening, there's a chance for thunderstorms late this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe and capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and possibly even tornadoes. With that, tonight we're going to have showers and thunderstorms mainly before midnight with a low around 36. And tomorrow and Thursday, we're looking at 2 days that are going to be mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 50s. Currently, it is 91 degrees, and that's weather and traffic right now on KCRO.
100 years KCRO.
It's 12th day of April in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McCoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland right here on the Heartland's Christian Voice. And you know, we're a voice all over the world, which is just cool. You know, KCRO.com can be heard on your phone with an app or just pulling up the website on your Alexa or your Google. On your computer at KCRO.com, you can watch us. It's not very exciting. I'm serious about that. It's not very exciting, but it's intended to be transparent, so you know who we are and you see what we do. When the commercials are on, we don't turn the cameras off so we can do something goofy or serious. And you can always catch that on Facebook and let me see here, Twitter. And, of course, YouTube. And that's here, brought to you by the good folks at the Divine Truth Studios in KCRO. All right, so Janel, who is the station manager, and her lovely daughter, Abigail, are in this afternoon. Abby's always in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we're talking about words. Now, is this something you're dealing with like in class or something? I mean, I'm just curious where this comes from today. I mean, it's an important topic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I mean, what made me kind of think of it is we've been working through the book of James in my college ministry. And so James 3 is all about taming the tongue and how important words are and where they come from, all that kind of stuff. So definitely something that's been on my mind and my heart recently.
All right. Well, and that's good. That's very good. You have a, how do I want to say this? You are a good wordsmith. You use words pretty properly, and you are not necessarily sarcastic with your words. And when you are, it's obvious. So I'm complimenting you.
Yeah.
I'm complimenting you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sometimes the worst thing about sarcasm is we really mean it.
Yeah.
But we say it some way, and then we get a free pass because we say, "Oh, I'm just being sarcastic. I'm kidding you."
A free pass to offend somebody.
Yeah, and sarcasm and I don't get along very good unless we're both. I mean, you and I have some fun together, Janelle. We're both grooving and moving on sarcasm, and
but
we
we're
both
on the
know
same
it.
page, and that's what's important.
Yeah, because if you looked at me and said, not today," why wouldn't? I mean, why would I? Because that's where we're going with this conversation. People get offended. Why do you get offended? Why does anybody get offended?
Because the words that are said, I believe you get offended because they sting a little.
Okay.
Or a lot.
Correct.
So I'm going to try to walk through this carefully. Do you choose for them to be offensive?
Yes.
Yes.
I think sometimes it's a subconscious thing. I don't sit there and go, I'm going to choose to be mad. You just get offended. But that's where, to use one of Abby's words, you would have to unpack those feelings and see where they are. If I'm offended by something you said or something stung, that means there's probably a little bit of truth to that, and I need to check that out a little bit. And the way you check that out is you run it by God. Was he using that person to talk to me, or was the devil using that person to talk to me?
Yeah, I know. One of the things I always bring up, and I don't need to do it today, but Abby, you and I have done this before. If you read John 8, this is right before they're going to take Jesus to the cross, or they're going to find him guilty and take him to the cross. And Jesus calls them a brood of vipers, which is a really, really bad term for them. They turn around and tell him that he's a bastard child, that God is not his father, that he is the father of the devil. And if you change Jesus's tone, because we don't know what he sounded like. In John 8, when you read that, he's mad. And I don't think he was sitting there at 6'3", blue-eyed, blonde-haired, peace sign with a long, white, clean robe. I think Jesus was human as well as divine. And if you upset him, he wouldn't lie to you. I don't think he'd commit a sin. But, oh boy, I bet he was something to be reckoned with.
Well, there's such a thing as righteous anger. And I'm pretty sure that's what he displayed at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of definition of, I feel like Jesus being angry and God being angry is, if they're the two perfect beings, then it can't be unjustified anger. It has to be righteous.
Okay, but then what I'd ask you then is, do you get to be... I don't want to say the wrong thing here. We're talking about words.
Don't offend me, Mac.
I'll try not. But if you don't mean to offend somebody and they choose to be offended, what I now look at them and say is, why do you choose to be offended? I'm not mad at you. I'm asking you a question. Can we count to 10? Take a big, deep breath and have you think about why that offends you. Now, a lot of times somebody will say, well, I learned that from my grandma. Or that was not a word that we were allowed to use in my household growing up, and I was taught it's an offensive word. Okay, that's a pretty darn good reason.
Yeah.
But most people will tell you, I don't choose to be offended, I just am. Why? Well, because you used the term a little bit ago. It stings. Now there's a fork in the road, you know?
Yeah.
Why does it sting? Well, now you're going to get yelled at.
Yeah, but it's like if it's someone who you care about and it's one of your your friends and you're genuinely invested in that friendship relationship, I think it's worth it to kind of dig into that a little bit. Obviously, read the room, read the situation. If that's not the time or the place, or you're not doing any good, then I would say step back. But like, I know, for instance, I have such a strong relationship with my mom that if I said something and she told me that something I said to her hurt her or offended her or like hurt her feelings, then my first response would be like, well, to let her know what my intention was behind what I said. Because sometimes genuinely we do lash out at others, and we need to realize when we do that.
Sometimes we say stupid things.
Yeah. So that's a very fair point.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, I am.
Yeah. But I also think it's important to note too, then my next thing would be like, here is what I was trying to get across with what I was saying. Mm-hmm. I'm truly sorry if what I said hurt you, but like that's not what my intention was. Let's talk about what actually is the real conversation here, because it's obviously not specifically what I said, but about the motion or what the underlying root of that was.
Okay.
And if Abby does that, that's when I can say, oh, well, I heard you call me stupid when she didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You hear things the way you want to hear them. I'm not sure how to explain that right.
Well, but see, that's very good that you just say that, because that's true in some cases.
Mm-hmm.
We can always claim that, well, that's not what I thought you meant, and that's okay, but it's being offended.
Yeah, as simple as Abby said, well, Mom, you didn't do that right. And in my mind, I'm hearing, you're so stupid. Well, that's on me, not on her. But that's why you can unpack it, oh, that hurt. And Abby will say, why? You just called me stupid. Well, no, I didn't.
Well, another thing I would say to that is, hold on. This is what I heard you say. And I heard you say, no, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Well, you can't say this is what I heard you say.
Mm-hmm.
You can also say this is how I felt when you said that.
Yes.
And boy, does that take a grown-up.
This whole thing takes you being very mature.
I mean, I'm not there all the time. When I have somebody tell me that you made me feel differently than you intended to make me feel, well, then that Mac comes out and says, well, that's how you choose to hear it. That's how you choose. I mean,
it's a hard conversation. It's a hard topic. But we're trying to just make people think about their words a little more and how you hear the words and how you choose to hear the words.
Yeah.
Just think about that.
All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, I want to talk about something really fun.
Okay.
Punctuation and what's the word I want? The pace in which you say something.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How can that change what somebody hears? I learned mine from Paul Harvey and Walter Cronkite.
Yes.
My broadcasting teacher once told me, I want you to go home. Now, we didn't have YouTube in those days. The only thing we had was a black and white tube.
Yeah, you poor guys.
But they did have 8mm movies on this, educational films. And Walter Cronkite and Paul Harvey once starred in a conversation that was led by somebody who's no longer with us. And they talked about how they learned to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So someone who was listening would understand that it was not them speaking. They were doing the role. They were playing their role as someone who tells you about what's going on in the air.
Okay.
Now, we've lost that in today's world.
Big time lost it. Yes.
Yeah, big time lost it. All right, that's what we're going to do when we come back, and we invite you to come back with us right here on AM 660 and FM 106.7 and all around the world at KCRO.com.
The Heartland's Christian Voice, KCRO Omaha, K294DJ Lincoln, regionally on 660 AM and in Lincoln on 106.7 FM, streaming on KCRO.com. Alexa, tune in, the KCRO app, and devices that haven't even been invented yet.
Fox News, I'm Rich Dennison. At least 10 people were shot, 18 others wounded when a gunman opened fire in a Brooklyn, New York subway car and platform. This man escaped.
It was just like a scary moment, and everyone was packed in that little station getting out. It was very scary.
A manhunt for the suspect continues. The GOP-controlled South Dakota House votes to impeach Republican Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg for his conduct surrounding a 2020 fatal car crash.
Ravnsborg pleaded no contest last year to traffic misdemeanors in the crash that killed a man. Investigators say Ravnsborg was on his phone and distracted.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Ravnsborg has been relieved of his duties pending the outcome of an impeachment trial by the state Senate. Comedian Gilbert Gottfried has died. His family today saying the 67-year-old passed away after a long illness. America's listening to Fox News.
Now your forecast for KCRO. For Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Lincoln. A wind advisory continues until 1 a.m. early tomorrow morning. Chance for scattered storms tonight, otherwise cloudy. Lows level off around 34. West winds 20 to 25 miles per hour. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, chance for scattered showers. High temperatures reach up to 51. Lows around 28. Tomorrow night, clear skies. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley on KCRO. Right now, 91.
David Brooks here, inviting you to join me Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. for the Retire Smart radio show. We'll provide you answers to your retirement questions and help you navigate these uncertain financial times. Don't just retire, retire smart. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.
Investment advisory services offered through Smart Wealth LLC, a federally registered investment advisor and affiliate of Retire Smart. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training.
Avery Presbyterian Church in Bellevue, Nebraska is a Bible-believing congregation with an emphasis on ministry to all ages. If you're looking for a church family that really feels like a family, come visit us. Our contemporary service, the Awaken service, begins at 9 a.m., and we invite your kids to Bible adventure, including songs, special guests, and a free breakfast. The adults gather to Sunday school at the same time, 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. If you prefer a more traditional service, you are invited to join us at 11 a.m. for Avery Presbyterian's Legacy Worship Service. This season, join us for our Easter services. We are kicking the Easter celebration off with our sunrise service at 6:40 a.m. Join us at Camp Brewster to watch the sun rise. And then back to Avery Presbyterian for a hot complimentary breakfast. And don't forget to join us for our 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Easter celebration services. Avery is a Bible-believing church located in Bellevue, Nebraska, across from Avery Elementary. Look for the Avery Bell Tower. And thanks for choosing the Avery Presbyterian Church, a Bible-believing family where we can't wait to meet you.
One of the great privileges that we have as followers of Jesus is to pray for one another. No doubt you've prayed for people you care about, and you've been encouraged by someone who's praying for you. Well, this week on Through the Bible, we learn about how Jesus prays for us. Yep, it's true. Hop aboard the Bible bus and hear more.
Through the Bible, weekday mornings at 6:30 and 10:30 on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian voice.
Naloxone is a drug used to safely reverse an opioid overdose and is now more readily available in Nebraska. I'm Dr. Rob Rhodes, a Nebraska family practice physician. I encourage you to learn how to respond to an opioid overdose and administer naloxone to potentially save a life by getting the free Opie Rescue app for your phone. Be Opie ready, download Opie Rescue.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Let's take a look at weather and traffic now. For traffic, we have a few accidents to report. About 25 minutes ago, at 36th and Hartman, there was a vehicle fire. At 72nd and Northland Drive, there is a brush fire. At Fort Crook and Cornhusker, there's an accident with injuries. And then more recently, about 15 minutes ago, there's a working fire in the area of Chicago Street. It's a structure fire, 39th and Chicago. And then at Platteview Road, there's a brush fire, another one. And then also in the area of 114th and 120th and Center, traffic lights are malfunctioning. So it's probably slow going in that area of town then. For weather, we're looking at a chance for thunderstorms late this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe and capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, as well as possibly even tornadoes. Tonight, there's going to be showers and thunderstorms, mainly before midnight, with a low around 36 degrees. Tomorrow and Thursday, it's going to be mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 50s. And currently, it is 91 degrees. I'm Abby, and that's weather and traffic on KCRO.
The Heartland's Christian Voice, KCRO.
It's the 12th day of April in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McCoy, and thank you for listening. It's no accident you're here at KCRO today. We've been praying for you, and that's the truth. We ask the Lord to speak through us. The Holy Spirit say the words that God would say, but He uses us for the pronunciation or the sound. You've all done it. You've all said, where'd that come from? I don't know where that came from. And it's the Holy Spirit. And what we're hoping is that God, who listens to every single prayer you ever pray, is going to answer a little bit of it, or maybe a lot of it. But you're here, and that's all that counts. And thanks for listening and watching the Talk of the Heartland here on KCRO. You heard me say watching. That's because we have a webcast, and we are now at 5 different platforms. So a couple on Facebook, we're also on Twitter, and we are on YouTube. And so you can watch these shows not only live, but they're always there. A podcast is audio only. A webcast has pictures. And so you have that with us here at KCRO. All right, Janel is with me today. Janel is Abigail's mother, and she's also the manager of our radio station. And this has been a great topic. I appreciate it a lot. We kind of had fun with it in the beginning, and maybe I apologize if I was too sarcastic. But I was just trying to have fun with you girls. But see, there's an advantage of, you heard it differently than I meant it. Janel got out. Well, anyway. So here's something else I want to talk about when we use words. Now, maybe this is just for people who use words professionally. And that's what I do. But I can't turn myself on and off. I don't talk like a sailor when I'm not here, because I can't talk like a sailor when I'm on the radio. That'd be dumb. And so you have to work on some things all the time, not just some of the time. And I'll give you a wonderful, wonderful example of something that we all know. Let's talk for a minute about punctuation. And punctuation, when it's written, we see a comma and we know we're supposed to pause. We see an exclamation point and we're supposed to accent it. What's that called in music? That's called well, anyway, it's called something.
Didn't really have much to go off there.
I know, I'm sorry. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. I think you do, but when the Bible was written, there was no punctuation used. Okay. We didn't start using punctuation until the King James Version came out, because those Europeans, how could they write just one long sentence? I mean, do you ever get an email from somebody that's just one long sentence?
A run-on sentence.
Yeah. So, but here's a very important thing that is talked about in Bible studies a lot. So, Jesus was being crucified, and this will be coming up on Friday, with a thief on his left and a thief on his right. And then one of the thieves who had done nothing wrong, and that is only said in Luke. Only Luke says he had done nothing wrong. Says to Jesus, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." And then Jesus answered him, and I'm going to say this 2 ways. I tell you the truth today, you will be with me in paradise. Or, I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise. Now, did you hear that 2 different ways?
Yes.
All right, how'd you hear it?
Well, the first one is, I'm telling you the truth today, right now. And then he told you what the truth was, which is that guy will be with him in paradise. And the other one...
And did he mean, by the way you heard it, did he mean that in this 24 hours you're going to be there? Or today I'm telling you?
Yeah, today was with the truth. He's like, today I'm telling you the truth.
Okay.
Not so much that the action was going to happen, but he's telling you today.
Okay.
And then the
Just
second
like
one.
I would say today is going to be a great day all day long.
Yeah, I mean, kind of a similar idea. Well, the second one is more about like, he's like, it sounded like you were saying, I'm telling you the truth, comma, today you'll be with me in paradise. So that the action was happening
There you go. And the other one was, I'm going to tell you this today. You will be with me in paradise.
Yeah, it's like it has to do with the action of telling, not with the being in paradise.
Correct.
And the other one's flopped.
Correct. But do you know how many people take that one verse and therefore with that verse and with Paul's verse of absent from the body is to be with the Lord, those are usually the only two verses someone can explain to you that when you die, you go immediately to heaven. And the Bible teaches something different. But this is an answer of, like, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Everybody thinks that's the way those Christians are. And, oh, you're just judging me. No, I'm not. I'm trying to coach you. I'm trying to make you aware of something, and I'm trying to do it in love. But you're never going to hear judgment in love. But that doesn't mean that we can't continue to try to tell them in love.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to, again, like, Jesus was hated and mocked and scorned and all this stuff. And people, I mean, they pretty much said, like, what he was saying was blasphemy, and how dare he say that?
Oh, yeah.
Because, they didn't recognize him as truly being the Son of God.
Well, and we know the end of the story. Can you imagine how they felt, though?
Yeah.
They've been waiting there generation after generation, Abraham, 2,000 years, to have the Messiah come and relieve them from their anger and their hate and what else? They're slaves, because they were slaves to the enemy, the Romans.
The Romans,
They were slaves to the Romans. And they thought the Messiah was coming with a rock and a slingshot and a big long knife and all the things that it would take to destroy the enemy.
Yeah, they had a very human perspective, which I don't fault them for, because I'm a human too. We all have that.
Right. So when this guy comes along named Jesus and says, "No, you will live in peace with me for the rest of those days, and we'll learn to love your neighbor as well as your enemy." How do you think that sat on those Pharisees?
I mean, they didn't want to hear the truth either, so I'm sure they were offended. They definitely were offended by the truth.
Did they know the truth?
I would even argue that I don't really know how much they had an actual functioning relationship with God versus they had their religion, and that's two very different things.
See, where did she get all these smarts?
I would like to say for me, but
Well, because that was really intelligent what she just said.
she's very intelligent.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you.
I'm
All right.
speaking the truth.
So that was just the example I wanted to share with you, where punctuation, pause. When I grew up, we called it the Paul Harvey pause. Because when you pause, if I were to say to you, "Do you like bananas?" If I pause, it gives you time to think what the answer would be. Even though we're probably not able to answer, but Paul Harvey didn't care. He did it anyway. Do you like blueberries or bananas on your vanilla ice cream? I'm just saying.
He was good.
That's what he taught me. We had him on. We listened to him every day at 7:20 and at noon, and then at 4 something in the afternoon eventually when he did the rest of the story. And they were on 59 WOW.
I remember driving home and listening to him.
Yeah.
The rest of the story every day. I loved it.
He was the best. Okay, I'm with Janel and Abigail today. Janel is the station manager. Abby is her daughter, and you know Abby. She's been on the radio with us. Here in about 8 or 9 months, she's going to graduate from college, and Janel has already given her college graduation gift, which is a full set of suitcases. And she'll give her 24 hours to pack them, and then it's out of here, kid, right?
I will cry when she moves out and leaves.
Are you the last one living at home?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Abby's number 2 of 4.
Oh, so you got enough kids to hang around.
I got a few more.
Yeah, but,
But when number one moved out, and she's still in town, by the way, I cried for like 2 weeks straight.
Well, she came over to the party.
Yes.
With her dogs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My granddogs.
Mom loves us. She's a great mom. So I think that's just why she cares. She wants us there with her, even though the natural progression is that we will, eventually move out, have our
if
lives
I've done my
separate a little
job
bit.
right, they will grow up and move out and be confident, productive citizens.
Doesn't mean it has to be easy, though.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, it can't. It's love. It can't be easy. I mean,
It takes work.
I've known parents, male or female, that they literally cannot wait for that kid to get out of the house.
I do too, and that's just not me.
And they mean it.
Yes.
I've had enough of this.
Mm-hmm.
You're 18, you're out of here. My wife at the time actually gave every one of our kids, all 4 of them, suitcases and luggage when they graduated. She literally did. Yeah, so anyway. All right, so we're talking about words and how powerful they are. And we're talking about being offended. So let's work on, for a moment, what we can do.
Okay.
Forget about how it's heard.
Mm.
We can't control how it is heard.
Mm-mm.
One of my ways to speak truth in love is to ask permission. May I tell you something you don't want to hear? What are other ways that we can gently say things to people that it's really important that they hear it? Not because we're trying to judge them or anything like that. We're just trying to be accountable for them. We're trying to, hopefully we've built a close enough relationship where I can give you a picture. I can hold up a mirror to your actions and you'll say, oh, well, that's Abby holding that up. I trust her when she says that.
Yeah, I think you honestly just touched on a really important part of it, is that words by themselves are dead. Words without a backup of works, which let me preface with works. Works are obviously not the be-all, end-all. That's very clear multiple times in the Bible.
Except James.
Well, James even talks about that too, like, because we've been working through James, that yes, it's important, but it's like it's not the same as like that's not your salvation, but it's like that's proof of your salvation, because if you've changed truly in your heart, that should be reflective in how you speak, how you treat people, how you act, all that kind of stuff.
Well, it's no longer you living within yourself; it's Christ.
Exactly. So that should indicate an action change. So that's what he's kind of saying. But I think, like, how do we actively speak in love to people is our words need to be backed up by our actions, which I think you'd kind of just touched on that. And like, it's one thing for me to like, which something I do verbally if I'm going to talk to people and share something that I know is a little harder to hear or, might be a little rougher for them to take, is a lot of times I kind of preface by saying like, I want to tell you something that I know is a little difficult, but I just want you to know I love you and I want the best for you, and that's why I'm bringing this up. Like reaffirming my relationship and my love for them first before I bring up this other thing. But then, man, I better back that up with my actions. Because if I say I love them and I care about them, yet I'm not willing to actually do anything for them or serve them, then that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, those words can't work without her having established that loving relationship first.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say that we're having that conversation, Abigail, and I say, well, don't tell me something I don't want to hear and then tell me you said it in love, because I won't hear it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, in about 12 words, I just stopped you dead in your tracks. With tone, by the way.
Yeah, so you want to know how would I respond to that?
Yeah.
I would say, if you had just told me that, I'd be like, well, here's the thing. I actually do truly love you. Whether you're choosing to accept that or see that right now doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to love you and that I still have this relationship with you. And I truly, truly just want God's best for you and the best that you could possibly have for your life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that's not what you wanted to hear right now, but I just want to reiterate why I'm saying that to you.
And so, I don't know if you realize it, Abigail, but you just put our whole show together in about 30 seconds. It's what you say, how you say it, and how you're listening to what they say and how you react to it.
Yeah, that's very true. And I think, like, especially with stuff like this too, if someone seems like they're not open to talking about it, or they reach a point where maybe they were for a few minutes and now they've kind of just started to shut down, I definitely think, like, read the situation and quote unquote give them an out, in the sense of sometimes it's better to give them time to process, to be like, I know that this is a lot right now. If you want to talk about this again, I would love to have a conversation about this, or just give them space.
All right, we're with Janelle and Abigail today. I'm Mac McCoy. It's Talk of the Heartland, and we thank you for listening to AM 660, FM 106.7, and all around the world, KCRO.com. Always want to hear what you have to say. It's your voice I want to hear, and you can email me that anytime you want. Mac, M-A-C, like macaroni, at KCRO.com. When we come back, the thing that Christians are accused of most of the time by people who don't like Christians. We'll tell you what that is and how to work around it with your language and your love. Here on KCRO.
This is Tony Clark with the Sure Women's Center, inviting you to join me and Franklin Graham, President and CEO of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association and the International Christian Relief Organization Samaritan's Purse, at Nebraska's largest pro-life banquet on Thursday night, April 21st. This fundraising banquet, presented by Governor Pete Ricketts and chaired by committed pro-life supporter Laura Lee Hunt Bird, is being held at Omaha's CHI Convention Center. With 2 locations in Omaha, Assure Women's Center is celebrating 37 years of being the first step for women facing unplanned pregnancies and the first step to life for their unborn babies. Tickets are just $45 and are selling fast. Reserve a table or seats today at firststeptolife.com. Again, that's firststeptolife.com. Come join us for a great night celebrating life. I look forward to seeing you there.
Every marriage faces storms, painful and tragic life circumstances that seem to knock you off your feet. On the next Focus on the Family, Jeff and Sarah Walton shared their story of pain, which ultimately pointed them toward hope in Christ, hope that is attainable for you as well. Next time on Focus on the Family with Jim Daly.
Focus on the Family, weekdays at 7:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. on KCRO, 660 a.m. in Omaha and 106.7 FM in Lincoln.
Matthew 28 tells us to go out into the world, spread the gospel, and make disciples of all men and women. Hi, my name's Mac McCoy, and I'm the host of the Talk of the Heartland. Heard 4 to 6 p.m. weekdays at KCRO. We take your calling from God very seriously, and we know you do too. Therefore, if you would be interested in sharing your ministry with millions of potential disciples around the world, I am inviting you to be a host of your very own radio program here on KCRO. Just email me, Mac, like macaroni, Mac at KCRO.com. And thanks for listening to the Christian Voice of the Heartland, KCRO.
Would you like job security along with great pay and benefits? Panagold, the bakers of Country Hearth bread products, offers a starting wage of over $20 an hour, medical and dental coverage, paid holidays, retirement funding, and opportunities for growth and advancement. Panagold has many positions throughout the bakery, so chances are good there's going to be a fit for you that will work with your schedule. Currently, there are openings for production, sanitation, maintenance, shipping, and delivery drivers. Find out more and apply today at countryhearthjobs.com.
Hi, this is Mac from Talk of the Heartland, and you know, it's no accident you're listening to us today. We've been praying for you. We know that there's something stirring inside of you that you wish God would answer in a prayer. Well, we're praying for you too, and maybe, just maybe, God will slip that answer to your prayers into the show with one of the guests or the pastors, or who knows, maybe even me. We want to hear them at 1-402-819-2666. It's Mac at KCRO.com. And no matter where you are when you're listening, at home, at work, or in the car, remember to write it down. We are AM 660 and 106.7 KCRO.
This is Pause to Pray, a chance to stop down each day from the daily noise of life and pray for our country's leaders.
Today, we pray for William Moore, Director of the Defense Commissary Agency. He oversees the sale of groceries and household goods to members of the U.S. military. Psalm 145, verses 15 and 16, reminds us that God always provides. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hand, you satisfy the desire of every living thing. Right now, with this in mind, let's pray together. Almighty God, we ask you to guide William Moore as he helps provide food and goods to our nation's military members. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pause to Pray is a service of this station and the Presidential Prayer Team. This is an important election year in your state and all across the country, and we're joining together to pray the vote. Details at pausetopray.org.
This is Abby on KCRO with traffic and weather. For traffic, have decent amount of accidents and incidents to report. At Highway 370 between 72nd and 66th Street, there's blowing dust, so low visibility at times. At 36 in Hartman, there's a vehicle fire. At 72nd and Northland Drive, there is a brush fire. At Fort Crook and Cornhusker, there's an accident with injuries. And then about 30 minutes ago, there's a working fire in the area of 39th and Chicago Street. It's a structure fire. There is a brush fire also at Platteview Road, around 190th. In the area of 114th and 120th and Center, there's traffic lights malfunctioning. And lastly, in just about 10 minutes ago, at westbound I-80 near 60th, there's an accident. So quite a bit going on right now. Be driving carefully and cautiously, especially if you're going through any of those areas mentioned. For weather, there's a chance for thunderstorms late this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe and capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and possibly even tornadoes. There are going to be showers and thunderstorms mainly before midnight with a low around 36. Tomorrow and Thursday is going to be mostly sunny and breezy with highs in the low 50s. And then right now it is currently 91 degrees. I'm Abby, and that's weather and traffic on KCRO.
It's the 12th day of April in the Lord's year 2022. I'm Mac McCoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland here on AM 660, 106.7 FM in Lincoln, all around the world on your app, your smart speakers, and easily found at kcro.com. That's also where you could email me, mac at kcro.com. Love to hear from you and what we can do better, what we do very well, and everything in between. And what we can do better is the most important thing I want to hear. So I thank you for that. So today I feel like we're having speech 401. So when you have a 101, it's beginning speech. And then 201 is how you learn to say words correctly and enunciate and pronunciate. And then 3 is when you begin to use that perhaps in writing or in radio or television or whatever. And then I think 401 comes when Jesus mugs you. Because I think all of a sudden language and words should never be a weapon anymore. There were a couple of times when Jesus uses that as a weapon. I don't know whether that was right or wrong. I say, hooray, Jesus. In John 8, the Pharisees were just ripping him apart, calling him horrible things, including a bastard, saying that his father was not their God. His father was the devil. Now, you think that'd make you mad? Well, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe you'd look at them and want to pray for them because you honestly don't get offended by things that can be so cruel and so hurtful. So that's kind of what we're talking about today. And you girls are doing very well.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I want to talk about something, if we may, about communication.
Yep, know a lot about that.
I did it before Jesus mugged me. I think Christians do it a lot less than people who don't have the Spirit within them think. A lot of people who don't know God, who choose not to know God, or maybe it's not their deal. I don't know. If you're Presbyterian, you'd probably say, well, they're never going to go to heaven. God did not pre-assign them, predict them. He didn't do that, predestined. Nobody knows whether that's true or not. But we do know that Jesus talks about we shouldn't judge people. And sometimes when you tell someone something, even if it's in love, it attacks them inside so little. What I would say is my little boy gets attacked, scared, fearful, not angry, hurt. I mean, oh my gosh, you just told me something that I know is true. And the first thing somebody will say is, well, you're judging, and the Bible says you don't judge, so you're not a very good Christian. Okay, so I want to set that record straight. I had somebody in my life for about 30 years, and she was the woman who gave birth to me. And I found her when I was about 18, and she left us right after I was 50 years old. But she swore that if she was going to give this baby up for adoption, which was me, that she was going to achieve all of her goals and dreams. And her goals and dreams included going to school, teaching school, while she was teaching, going back to law school, getting her law degree, practicing law, and the cherry on the top would be a judge. She wanted to be a judge. And she achieved that. She was, for many, many years, the Superior Court Justice of the Western United States. One day we were talking during dinner, and you can only imagine the level of conversations that her and I had. And I said something about, well, now you're just judging me. And the next thing she told me was one of the most important lessons I've ever heard. And I'm going to share that with you when we come back, right here on the Talk of the Heartland.
Celebrate Easter with Covenant. Tune in every Sunday right here on AM 660 KCRO for the Covenant Church live broadcast at 11 a.m. Covenant Church is located at 150th and Blondo Street in Omaha. Join us in person at 11 a.m. For more information, go to covenantomaha.church. That's covenantomaha.church. Celebrate the risen Lord at Covenant this Easter. Come home to Covenant.
Hey friends, what do you have going on for Easter? If you would like to go to the best Easter egg hunt this side of the Mississippi, come to Master's Hand on April 16th. There's going to be prizes, 25,000 Easter eggs, critter close-ups, Omaha street percussion, free pony rides, and skydivers. Hope to see you there.
That's Master's Hand Candles and Gifts on Highway 75, 20 minutes north of Blair. Saturday, April 16th from 8 to 4. Fun for your whole family.
Matthew 28 tells us to go out into the world, spread the gospel, and make disciples of all men and women. Hi, my name's Mac McCoy, and I'm the host of the Talk of the Heartland. Heard 4 to 6 p.m. weekdays. At KCRO, we take your calling from God very seriously, and we know you do too. Therefore, if you would be interested in sharing your ministry with millions of potential disciples around the world, I am inviting you to be a host of your very own radio program here on KCRO. Just email me, Mac, like macaroni, mac@kcro.com. And thanks for listening to the Christian Voice of the Heartland, KCRO.
Success in action. How can you take your business or work to the next level? Listen to the Success in Action radio show with Jim Barger, Saturday afternoons at 12:30 on KCRO, the Heartland's Christian Voice.
AmeriCorps programs and members are making a huge impact in Nebraska communities near you, addressing critical issues like education, conservation, and even food insecurity. Because of AmeriCorps, the Lead for Nebraska program is fighting brain drain in Nebraska's rural communities by expanding access to broadband services and digital literacy. Learn about AmeriCorps programs serving communities in your region by visiting serve.nebraska.gov. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, it's Mac from Talk of the Heartland, and you know in this day and age you can pick up KCRO just about anywhere you want. We have a digital app that goes on all smartphones, Alexa or Google or any of the smart speakers, or anywhere around the world at kcro.com. And no matter where you are when you're listening, at home, at work, or in the car, remember to write it down. We are AM 660 and 106.7 KCRO. Thanks for listening to the Talk of the Heartland.
Hey everybody, this week's show is going to be awesome on the journey. I have my guests, Jason and Michelle Hurt, the co-founders of Chariots for Hope, one of the greatest ministries you'll ever hear about. They are going to be on the show and we're going to be having so much fun. So please tune into The Journey on Thursday from 5 to 6 on KCRO.com or at 6:60 a.m.
This is Abby for weather and traffic on KCRO. Let's now take a look at traffic. About almost an hour ago now, we had a few things come in. That Highway 370 between 72nd and 66th, there is blowing dust, so low visibility at times. 36th and Hartman, there's a vehicle fire. At 72nd and Northland Drive, there's a brush fire. At Fort Crook and Cornhusker, there's an accident with injuries. And there's a working fire in the area of 39th and Chicago Street, which is a structure fire. At 190th and Platteview Road, there's a brush fire. About 40 minutes ago in the area of 114th and 120th and Center, traffic lights are malfunctioning. About 20 minutes ago, westbound I-80 near 60th, there's an accident. And lastly, in just about 4 minutes ago at westbound Dodge Expressway near 115th, there's a car accident as well. For weather, we're looking at a chance for thunderstorms late this afternoon and evening, some of which could be strong to severe and capable of producing large hail, damaging winds, and possibly even tornadoes. Tonight, showers and thunderstorms mainly before midnight with a low around 36. Tomorrow and Thursday, we're looking at mostly sunny and breezy days with highs in the low 50s. Currently, it is 91 degrees right now in Omaha. I'm Abby, and that's weather and traffic on KCRO.
KCRO.
It's the 12th day of April in the Lord's year 2022, and I'm Mac McCoy, and this is the Talk of the Heartland, here on AM 660 and FM 106.7, and all around the world at KCRO.com. Abigail is with us, along with Janel, the station manager. They also are mother and daughter, and quite a wonderful family that Miss Janel has created. And your old man helped a little bit. You know, he's a pretty good guy.
He is. My husband's wonderful.
Okay, yeah.
I want to go on record saying that. He's a wonderful man.
Yeah, he is. He is. And I don't know if I know anybody that'd say any different.
I don't think so.
Yeah. All right, that's beside the point.
Okay.
So,
moving on.
A person who was at the second highest level of their profession in the world was a woman who became a Superior Court Justice for the western part of the United States. The only job more important or bigger, I guess you could say, would be the Supreme Court of this United States. And one day, this person and I were having quite the conversation about theology. And she said something, and I said, well, you're judging me, and that's all you Christians do is judge people. Now, let's take the first thing that you should have heard there. I chose to be offended by what she told me. And then she explained this to me, and I want to explain it to you. First of all, a question for Abby. Abby, who has the right to judge you?
God.
When you were 15, who had the right to judge you?
God. I mean, in a way, I don't know that I would say my mom was ever like a judge. She had authority over me, but I see it more as authority rather than like judge.
Well, okay. Here's what a judge has. A judge has the authority to make a difference in your life, positive or negative. Unfortunately, it's usually negative because we really don't go before a judge for, say nice something to me. But here's how she explained it to me. When I stand before God as a judge, I will have Satan there on one side saying, what a horrible man this guy was. Man, I told him to do this, and he did it, and he did it again and again. And you can see him, God, you know what he did. Over and over and over, he was a bad, bad man. And therefore, I need you to find him guilty and give him a, operative word, consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And usually only parents, maybe some grandparents, have the power of giving us consequences. You're probably understanding where I'm going with this now. Then Jesus, who is my defense attorney, steps up and says, you know, I know that some of the things that Satan says over there that my client's done, but it's not who he is. And he repents when he does something wrong. And he genuinely is bothered by it, more so than any harm that he ever intended for someone to have. And Judge, I'd just like you to see him through my eyes. Yes, he's done some things wrong. He's done some bad things. But, Papa, you and I see him perfectly. So the judge has heard from the prosecutor, and the judge has heard from the defense attorney. That's called discernment. Because when you discern something, whether you like it or not, part of it is your opinion. That's what a discernment is. If you're very intelligent, then most of the time your discernments are on target. And if it's a gift from the Holy Spirit, usually discernment can be used the correct way. But it's not judgment. Everything the defense attorney said about me does not give me a consequence. All the wonderful things that Jesus said about me doesn't give me consequences. The only person that can give you consequences is who? A judge. So if you're not telling someone what the consequence is going to be of their action, what's the one that way too many people say? Oh, you're going to hell for that. Hell's going to be a little more crowded for you. You keep doing that and nobody's going to love you anymore. Those are judgments. And we don't have the right to say that because we don't have the opportunity to give consequences to those people. And I hope people heard that and they learned it. Because when somebody accuses you of judging, don't tell them you're not judging. Sit and think for a minute. Am I judging? You keep smoking dope, you keep drinking beer, you keep going out and carousing, you keep driving fast and getting speeding tickets, and you know what? God will reject you and you'll go to hell. Bad, 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 bad. It's not our place.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't think it's ever our place to tell someone they're going to hell.
Well, you're not a mother yet.
Well, okay, but
not to go to hell.
Yeah,
I'm
I was
sorry.
Gonna say, okay, well, I mean, that's one of those things that, like, who am I to comment on somebody's eternal destination and trajectory when, like, that's between them and God? Like, it doesn't make sense that I would be like them, God, oh, there's Abby in the middle. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, okay, but here's another example. All your friends are all getting together, and they know that there may be a keg there or something like that. And they don't want to be judged based on how you might see them, and so they don't invite you. Now, that's their problem, not yours. Their problem is they're not strong enough in their convictions, or they are strong enough in their convictions to know that what they're doing is wrong. But you know what? It's not our place to say it. Now, I will tell you that I have a good friend. I love this man. He always said, well, I'm not here to judge, but I am a fruit inspector. Because Jesus does teach us to look at people's fruit. And
that's right, he does.
Yeah, that's where we know. Or I have somebody who was a umpire and a coach for years and years. He would say, I'm not judging you, I'm trying to coach you because you haven't let me finish yet. What I would say at the end, and maybe we're going to do this or not, but if you're good, you say, because what I was going to do at the end, if I can help you to stop thinking that way, stop doing those things, realize why they're not good for you, we can even leave God out of this for a while. Just what it's doing to you and your relationship with other people. I'm just trying to coach you away from being hurt. Because there are those people that just blah, 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 and they judge. But there are those people like me sometimes who sound judgmental, but I don't mean it that way. It's tone. It's enunciation.
It's true.
It's punctuation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's language.
I also, I've definitely had those issues in even my own family with my siblings that like there's been times
I've met them. They're perfect.
well, there's been times I've come to mom and I've been like, I like, what do I do? Because even though I'm not meaning it this way, it's coming across like they think I'm judging them. And so when they perceive me that way, that's impacting how they're seeing me and how they're treating me and blah, blah, blah. And like, I mean, I think even just like, honestly, it took some guts to ask that because I wasn't sure I really wanted to hear the answer. Like I did, but I didn't. But I don't know. You could even comment on that because I know you remember me.
There's times Abby will ask my opinion and I'll tell her my opinion and she'll just stare at me. I don't like what you just said. I'm like, well...
I'm honest about it.
And then I'll usually follow
and
up with,
so is she.
You don't like the truth. And then she...
Yeah. Well, what's the bottom line? The bottom line is getting along, being someone you can disciple. I say this on the radio all the time, and I'll get an email tomorrow from somebody who will absolutely disagree and maybe even tell me that I'm not a Christian. And that's when I pray for them because I feel sorry for them. But here's my spiel. I don't care if you're gay, transgendered, had an abortion, drank yourself into the tizzy last night, you're going to do it again tonight, lie, cheat, or steal. I don't care because I'm here to show you love and tolerance and grace. Because I want to be that, I really do. I want to be that guy when Barbara, I don't know who Barbara is. So Barbara says, I've been living this life as a lesbian for 10 years, and Mac's the only one that never judged me. He just always told me Jesus would love me. And Jesus begins to stir in Barbara's heart. And she knows it's safe to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I want to be.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with parts of that. I will push back against some of that personally because I do care. I think if people around me and people I love and are close to, like, I care if they're actively living sinful lives. Like, I care because the Bible says some of that is just straight up wrong and that that's not how God intended it to be. So I guess my pushback against that a little bit would be to say I do care that people do that, but it's like I love them more, if that makes sense.
You just got to let them know.
Yeah, and I would. And I feel like it's important. Like, it's not going to come across, like, I wouldn't approach it like, oh, you do that? I mean, like, yeah, that's so wrong. Why do you do that? Blah, blah, blah. I think, again, like, it's speaking truth, speaking love. And even more than that, like, the best way I can show someone Jesus and his love is by how I act and how I treat them.
You know what's interesting? Something you just taught me, and I've never put it into these words, but as Christians, we always hear the devil whispering in our ears all the things that we don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the case be true that people who do not follow Jesus, that when you say something to them, they hear God whispering truth into their ears, and they don't want to hear it.
I mean, it could be. God can work through anything and anyone he wants to.
But that's why you keep doing what you're doing. He's going to use you. The Bible says you'll be persecuted, you'll be hated, you'll be pushed away. You might even lose everything for this long a time.
You know, one of my daughters had a friend that she worked with that was gay, and he was very reluctant to talk to her and be nice to her, and she ended up working with him a lot, so she was nice to him and was talking to him, and he finally came to her and said, he goes, I didn't want to be your friend because you were a Christian, and Christians judge me. He goes, but you didn't. You were just nice to me.
Right.
And that's what it's about.
Absolutely.
The bottom line. You asked what the bottom line is, Mac? The bottom line is love.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
right.
I can still care what they do, and I should care about sin. Whether it's me sinning or someone else sinning, I should care about that because it's actively being in rebellion against God. But even more than that, what does God command for us to do, right? Like our top 2 commandments is to love God as your God and then to love other people.
Yeah. Well, ladies, it's been a pure pleasure today. The torture was not near as good as the honey. So thank you very much for coming in today and sharing the Talk of the Heartland with us on Words 101. When we come back, I'm going to play a sermon or a part of a sermon from someone you've probably never heard of, but you're going to hear truth. And the reason I'm going to play it is because it sits right in the middle of what we've been talking about today. Janelle said half of it a minute ago. The other half is forgiveness. That's coming up next here on the Talk of the Heartland on KCRO.
The DJ's Hero Awards Luncheon is back at CHI Health Center Omaha. Join us Tuesday, May 3rd for a conversation about leadership and perseverance featuring NU legend Tom Osborne, former Creighton Athletic Director Bruce Rasmussen, and international businessman and Omaha native David Sokol. Plus, hear the inspirational stories of our Hero Awards scholarship honorees. Reserve your seat or your group table today at djshero.org. That's djshero.org.
I'm Joyce Meyer, and I want to encourage you to listen to Enjoying Everyday Life Monday through Friday right here on this station. My program is full of practical biblical teaching that will build your faith and equip you to enjoy your life. I love to share God's Word with you. It's His Word that allows us to have victory in this life right now. His Word sets us free. Be sure to listen to Enjoying Everyday Life right here daily so you can be blessed and encouraged.
5:45 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 10 p.m. on KCRO.
Hey, this is Mac McCoy from Talk of the Heartland, here on the Christian Voice of the Heartland. AM 660, KCRO, and FM 106.7 in Lincoln. Hey, if you have a pastor you'd like to hear share their theology and things about their church, maybe at your church, I'd sure like to have you recommend that pastor, or maybe a friend, someone you work with, a relative, maybe a grandchild, somebody who loves Jesus and would like to talk about it on the radio. I would love to hear from you. You can call me at 1-402-819-2666. That's a recorded line we have, and you can tell me whatever you want, and I'll listen to the message. Or you can always email me at Mac, that's M-A-C, at KCRO.com. And no matter where you are when you're listening, at home, at work, or in the car, remember to write it down. We are AM 660 and 106.7 KCRO. And thanks for listening.
Avery Presbyterian Church in Bellevue, Nebraska is a Bible-believing congregation with an emphasis on ministry to all ages. If you're looking for a church family that really feels like a family, come visit us. Our contemporary service, the Awaken service, begins at 9 a.m., and we invite your kids to Bible adventure, including songs, special guests, and a free breakfast. The adults gather to Sunday school at the same time, 10 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. If you prefer a more traditional service, you are invited to join us at 11 a.m. for Avery Presbyterian's Legacy Worship Service. This season, join us for our Easter services. We are kicking the Easter celebration off with our sunrise service at 6:40 a.m. Join us at Camp Brewster to watch the sun rise. And then back to Avery Presbyterian for a hot complimentary breakfast. And don't forget to join us for our 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. Easter celebration services. Avery is a Bible-believing church located in Bellevue, Nebraska, across from Avery Elementary. Look for the Avery Bell Tower. And thanks for choosing the Avery Presbyterian Church, a Bible-believing family where we can't wait to meet you.
It's the Talk of the Heartland here on AM 660 and 106.7. I think it comes down to this. God teaches us to love. Jesus teaches us to forgive. And the Holy Spirit delivers grace, especially when it's about forgiveness.
So that we can understand what it is we're dealing with. First, I want to define forgiveness for you. Because many of us wrestle with the issue of forgiveness because we don't know what it means. And it has tremendous implications for our spiritual lives and for our relationships. Listen to this from John Calvin. First, what is forgiveness but a gift of mere liberality? A creditor is not said to forgive when he declares, by granting a discharge, that the money has been paid to him, but when, without any payment, through voluntary kindness, he expunges the debt. Forgiveness is expunging the debt. He uses these terms because you almost have to use these commercial terms in order to understand what forgiveness means. Forgiveness is the cancellation of a debt. Forgiveness means you don't have to pay. Now, I have up here my trusty iPad. Say somebody came up here and knocked down my iPad and broke my iPad. And I looked at the person after they, broke my iPad, and I said, hey, I forgive you. I really do. I forgive you. $800. I'll go get me another one. We're good. I have not forgiven. I have not forgiven. Why? Because I'm making you pay. I did not cancel the debt. I'm making you pay. I didn't forgive. My words are hollow. My words are empty. See, usually when we say, I forgive you, what we're really saying is, I'm not going to blow up at you. Literally, that's all we mean. I'm not going to blow up at you. I'm not going to punch you. I want to, but I'm not going to right now. However, I am going to punish you in significant ways. Now, see, what happens when we get out of this transactional model, when we're not talking about finances anymore? What does it look like for me to make somebody pay, for me to not forgive? Well, a couple of things. How about depriving another person of my time and attention? I forgive you. I just don't want to be around you. I forgive you. I'm just not speaking to you. The husband and wife situation. I forgive you. I'm just withholding affection. Can't say amen. You ought to say ouch. That's not forgiveness. That is the opposite of forgiveness. You are being punitive. You're making the person pay. That means you're not forgiving. Or depriving parent of the honor and respect that they're due. I forgive you. But I'm not going to honor you and respect you. You've lost that. Again, you're not forgiving. Depriving a child of their inheritance. We see that with Jacob and Reuben, do we not? And there are people who do that. They don't forgive their kids. They say they forgive them, but then they punish them later on. I got something you want, something you need, something you expect. You're not going to get it. It's punishment. Refusing to acknowledge the accomplishments or achievements or special occasions in other people's lives. My mother was mean to me. My mother wasn't a good mother. So guess what I'll do? I'll show her. I won't send her a card on her birthday. You haven't forgiven. My parents weren't good parents. I'm not going to throw them an anniversary party. I'm not going to show up to celebrate a retirement of somebody that I don't respect, somebody who did that to me. This is making them pay. I'm going to make you pay. I'm not going to send them pictures of their grandkids. I'm making you pay. I'm not going to come see you. I'm making you pay. I'm not going to call you. I'm making you pay. This is unforgiveness. All the while we're saying, oh, I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you, but here's how you're going to pay. You're talking out of two sides of your mouth. That is the essence of unforgiveness. How about rejecting gifts? Hey, you got a card. It's from your mother. Throw it away. Hey, you got a gift. It's from your sister. You're probably just feeling guilty. I don't want that. You follow me? This is what unforgiveness looks like in your everyday life. Rejoicing in the suffering of someone else. You did me wrong. Now you got cancer. That's what you get. That's unforgiveness. And it's completely and utterly hypocritical. See, when you're not forgiving, there are a number of things that are going on. Number one, what's going on is you're being disobedient because you're commanded to forgive. Ephesians 4:32, we'll talk about that more in a moment. But you're commanded to forgive. So first and foremost, you're being disobedient. So refusing to forgive someone is sin. You're sinning against God, which is quite ironic because you're sinning because someone sinned against you and you feel like your sin is justified because it came second. You're like a child saying, he hit me first. Here's the second problem with that. When you're not forgiving a believer, here's what you're saying to God. And don't tell me you're not saying this to God. Because this is what you're saying to God. It sounds exactly like this. Listen, God, I know that Jesus died on the cross for what that person did to me, and that may be enough to satisfy you, but I require more. The death of Jesus Christ is not enough. I spit on the cross. It cannot pay for this. Die again, Jesus, because what you did wasn't good enough to cover this. They need your death on the cross plus the silent treatment from me. Wow, I better start forgiving believers. I just hold on to my unforgiveness against unbelievers. Now, really? Unbelievers will pay eternally for their sin in hell. The wrath of God poured out against them. So when you don't forgive an unbeliever, what you're saying is, God, your wrath is not enough. This person doesn't just need an eternity in hell. They need an eternity in hell plus me not taking their phone calls. That'll do it. Now the scales will be balanced because I got my pound of flesh. This is the wrong answer. But this is what we say to our God. The other aspect of this that's just absolutely horrible is that the one who's really paying is you. It has been said, holding on to unforgiveness against another person is like you drinking poison hoping they die.